Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the Natasha Effect, where we hopefully change perspectives one conversation at a time. I'm beyond excited about today's guest, which we actually have bonded over military right off the bat. And then we have a previous connection filming The Blocks, which is an entrepreneurship TV show that we could probably tell you about later. But anyone who served knows that you just get each other on a different level. So, like I said, we met on a TV show this past May, and from the second I met her, I knew that she was someone who was truly remarkable. She is an author of her book, First Year in Business, and she also just does a million and seven things that she can tell you about. But on top of all of that, she is your girl for discipline, grit, and perspective, especially in the business world. So you name it, she's got it. But this is Mariam. Welcome to the Natasha Effect. And I'll allow you to introduce yourself. That's not the so LinkedIn version, I would say.
Thank you, Natasha. What a sweet intro. Thank you so much. I sometimes forget I wrote a book because I was so deep into my first year of like just trying to figure out my business. But yes, I'm the oldest of 10 kids. Um,
10.
10 total kids. I'm the oldest. I was born and raised in California. I like to read. I like to go on hikes. Yeah, I'm actually, yes, very disciplined and, perseverance is my middle name, but I'm very girly too. I like my spa days. I looking cute and yeah. So I have layers, but my dominant trait is definitely like hard work and really, figuring things out and discipline, obviously, not just from the military, but like from growing up with being the oldest kid of an immigrant family. My parents are from Pakistan. But yeah, that's like to read. I like hanging out with the girls. I like spa days. I like
I forget you're one, or I forget you're the oldest of 10, because 10 is like, I'm the oldest of five, and I always thought that was a lot, but 10 is like, I feel you don't hear 10 a lot anymore.
right. Yeah, it's really like I feel like that's part of the reason why like we have the personality that we do, where we can get along in any setting and like
Yeah.
walks where we met, like we were just getting along with everybody and we did. And the other thing is I feel like we have this like detachment to things being military, like whatever happens, happens, like it's fine. Yeah.
It's here one minute and it's gone the next. But I think you get used to that even with the good and the bad. So it could
Right.
be a positive or a negative thing. I know for like me, I forget about, Lewis says it all the time, especially with when we got pregnant with this one. We were both super excited, planned baby, whatever. But then we go and he was like, did you forget all of the like late nights and all the crying and all that? He's like, I swear you
Etc.
just forget all the bad parts. And I said,
Yeah.
I do. I just remember the good.
Mhm.
But it's like, why would I want to remember the bad parts? Then I'm not going to want to do it again.
Right.
But we
Exactly.
move on quick. We move on quick.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, that was always something that I think that we had a lot in common in terms of people find it really shocking that you're in the military. And I always got the same response. It's always like, what? So I feel like you've dealt with that a lot too. It's like they're not used to seeing attractive, successful females in that
Yeah.
role.
My gosh, I've been accused of stolen valor so many. I was skull dragged through like four Facebook groups like 10, 15
Oh
years
my
ago.
God.
Yes. They posted photos of me and they're like, this girl is like stolen valor. I've been there, down that, like up until like a year ago.
Stolen valor is crazy. Oh my gosh. I didn't know that, but
Yeah.
sorry you had to deal with that. But especially because so as people who have served or who are serving, you know like what that accusation is and like what that feels like. So for it to not be true is just like it sucks. That's the only way to put it. Like it's a shitty feeling.
Right,
But
and then you become a little defensive. So when I do, like, I used to really front load. I was in the military, a veteran, but
yeah.
I've noticed it's become less and less of an identity for me. It's more just like, yeah, that's a thing that I
Yeah,
did.
I did that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no
That's
biggie.
kind
8
of where
years deployed,
I'm at
whatever. Yeah.
now. Cause I think I'm at year nine and I'm
Oh,
still in the
you're
reserves.
still in the reserves. Yeah.
Yeah. But sometimes I'd be forgetting because it's like, oh yeah, because it's not at the forefront of what I'm doing.
Right,
Like,
exactly.
I did my deployment.
Hmm.
I did where I like got through the ranks where I want to be. Like I'm sitting at E6 right now. I'm content there. I don't really have a care to go higher, obviously not lower, but higher anywhere else. But
Right.
they're like, I want to go to ALC for E7. No, I'm okay.
I'm good. I'm good. Right.
I'm content. You know, my ETS is 2028, so which is like a lot closer than I think. I mean, we're about to be in 2026. That's
No.
crazy.
Mm.
So I'm like, I'm good. We'll coast. We'll coast. But um, I guess before we jump into more of the business wins, we kind of got to know you a little bit on that personal side. But I just want to say, I see just even from your history more why people come to you for guidance without really even thinking about it. I know, like I said, when I first met you, I was actually really intimidated by you. I get that a lot too, but I was actually really intimidated by you just because you looked very put together, very successful. Like even just talking, you sounded like you knew what you were doing, which we've had conversations like, no, girl, this is all act. I have no idea what I'm doing.
Make it till you make it, baby.
But I learned a lot from that, just our few interactions there. So I see why people are drawn to you to go to you for that. Cause even that first day, I was like, oh, I don't want to really talk to her. She kind of scares me. Like, and
Good.
people give,
My facade's working.
yeah, and people give me that same thing. They're like,
Mm.
oh, we don't want to approach you because you look intimidating. And I'm like, okay, so to see that on somebody else was like, oh, this is how they feel. So I just wanted to say it's working for you. You
No,
got it.
I really am a girl's girl at the end of the day, but like when you're in
Yeah.
those types of environments where it's like business, it's competition, it's it's a different like vibe that you're in. But I'm
Yeah.
so glad like with you and a couple of other girls, we totally hit it off and like you guys
Yeah.
see like the softer, goofier side. Yeah.
I think we had a really good group of girls there
We
too.
did.
Well, a good group overall, I would say, but especially the girls, I don't really think there was a lot of cattiness,
No, no.
which I expected there to be, which thank God.
Yeah,
But
yeah, we had a solid group for sure.
I thought so too.
Mm.
Um,
I just saw Shannon. Do you remember Shannon?
yeah,
I just saw
yeah.
her at one of she invited me to her networking event, Baby Bathwater, and yeah, like we still keep in touch. Like I really
Hmm.
like had such good like friendships that I formed out there.
Yeah, Shannon and I talk off and on sometimes because she's only a few hours north of
She's
me.
very close to you, yeah.
But
Hmm.
and we talked about once the holidays pass and stuff, we do want to set up like a what's the word I'm looking reunion. That's what
Reunion?
I'm
Oh,
looking
that'd
for.
be so much fun.
And we were thinking like Orlando because it's pretty central in Florida, but um, it's a place where everyone would want to go. It's like
Right.
Orlando's a fun place to be. So we were working on trying to plan that, but I think that especially the group that we've cultivated, it would be a really fun opportunity for us to all like reconnect and hang out, not in a competition, and just have fun.
Yeah, for sure.
So, but one thing you mentioned in your prep, which I know was super long ago, but that really stuck with me is you said, and this kind of gets to the business side of your things. You said people don't really want to care for their aging loved ones anymore. It's super bold, but it's super real. So I guess let's circle back and talk about what your business is, why you got into it, and kind of what your mission and goal is for that.
Yeah, so I got into home care, and it's very specific to the type of care that we do is very specific for private home care. So we do caregiving in the homes of our clients. So like if they live in their own place, if they live in a 55 plus community, independent living community, like the 55 and up, apartments and condos that are being built all over the place. Um, but we're very specific to the private care.
Okay.
So, and we're non-medical here in California. And yeah, like I just noticed that like more and more people became caregivers and they're being burnt out. They're becoming resentful and it's getting to the point where they just don't want to do it. And then I grew up in a culture where you take care of your elderly and like make
Mhm.
sure that they're provided for, they're living under the same roof as you normally. But even for like my generation, I noticed more and more people were like removing themselves from that. And so there was a situation that happened where my dad was placed in a skilled nursing facility, which is like, we don't like, it's unheard of in our culture, let alone my own father, and I
Yeah.
didn't know about it because I was overseas. I was overseas working with the military in Jordan. And by the time I found out my dad was in the facility, he had declined and he was in ICU. And so by the time I got home back to California, he passed away not even a week later.
Wow.
And yeah, and it was just, I was so devastated. And then when I was talking to my family about what happened, and they just, it was during the time of COVID, so they couldn't really find support. My dad didn't want to be in the skilled nursing facility, but it was also not safe for him to be at home because of all the underlying conditions that he
Mhm.
had. So that after my dad passed away, and again, it was really like unexpected. I just thought he was gonna pull through, and then when I started reading all the statistics and how quickly, people decline when they're removed from their home and put in these types of facilities, I was like, wow, this is only going to get worse because,
Yeah.
the population's aging by the masses. But in 5 years, first time in human history, the the elderly are going to outnumber the young. First time in history.
Well, and just to I guess interject real quick too, we were just talking about that. That's why there's a issue with people wanting to reproduce. So people aren't wanting to have kids, which is why that's happening because of, a lot of other issues. But yeah, it's definitely a true, very forefront fact among that. So, but go on.
Yeah, and it's not even just the fact that we have a huge wave of aging, an aging population that's coming in. They're not healthy either. So
Uh,
yes, people are living longer. Yes, there's like, we're averaging what, 70, 80, 90 years old, but it's not
mhm.
a healthy 70, 80, 90 years old. One of
Yeah.
our youngest clients was only in their late 40s with
Wow.
memory issues. Yeah. And so especially with like cognitive impairment, that can decline. It can start early, and if not taken care of, they can decline rapidly. And then, of course, our other specialty is end of life hospice care because people want to pass away in their homes. So,
Right, right.
after that situation with my dad, I really went down like a rabbit hole, and I decided not to go back overseas. I stayed back in California, and I started looking into licensing for home care. And
Hmm.
yeah, that took about a year. And then 2024, January last year, we started the business. And I keep saying me, I started the business, bootstrapped it, figured out licensing. Luckily for me, I've always gone to get help. I've never been like, I'm gonna figure all this out by myself. Nope. Who knows more than I do? Who can I pay to collapse time so I can figure this out faster? So, I
Hmm.
went to the right mentors, I went to the right people. Sometimes I didn't go to the right people. And I just learned, I failed forward, like I always say. Like if I didn't figure it out the first time, I kept going until I was either gonna figure it out or it was just not, it didn't make sense. So luckily
Yeah.
for me, I really like I I like cold stopped everything else. I was like, if I'm gonna do this home care agency thing, like I need to be serious about it. Like this isn't one of my side quests or my side businesses or my little thing that I want to do on the side. Like this is the big girl leagues, okay?
It's the main event.
This
Yeah.
is the main event. This is licensing in California. There's workers' comps. There's like this is the big girl leagues right now. Like if I'm gonna do this, this is my soul freaking. I need
You
to
eat, sleep, and breathe what you were doing. Yeah.
exactly. And all this other peripheral stuff that I was doing on the side, which I'm notorious for, like shiny objects. Oh, I could go do this. I could do that. I was like, I need to stop that like right now.
I love a good side quest, but
Right. Queens of side quests over here.
literally.
So yeah, I just really focused in. I zoned in. I was overqualified for any job I was trying to apply for in the United States anyway. They're like, okay, system administrator, US Army veteran, what the heck do you want to work at H&R Block? Like what are you doing? And
Why is that me right now?
so,
Okay, doctoral candidate, what do you want to do? Like,
but you get it, right? Like
I
you
need a job. Like, you know what I mean?
need to do something. So honestly, like the stars aligned and I felt very purposeful and like unfortunately it took my dad passing away for me to really like get it together. There's a lot of other behaviors I wasn't proud of per se that I had to fix, and honestly this business was the biggest like personal growth self journey I've ever done, ever, ever. Like the
Mhm.
business is literally the reflection of you as a person and
Yeah.
you can either grow it or stifle it. So it was just, yeah, that was like review of how I even started this business. But like honestly, this is the last 2 years has been like the biggest personal growth journey I've ever experienced.
And that's going to be with any business. Like you're always going to have your failures and then your successes, and a lot of, as much as we hate to say it, the failures always outweigh the success in the beginning. Like it's just, it is how it is.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to circle back to one thing you said. So you said you're non-medical home care. What does that mean exactly?
So we do activities of daily living. So we
Okay.
support like home health. So in California, they're very nuanced in how what your license is for. So I'm home care. There's home health. Home health is
Mm-hmm.
all medical stuff like nurses, OT, PT, hospice companies and stuff like that, that they're considered medical. They have nurses and CNAs and doctors and stuff like that. Home care for me are home care aides. So obviously there has to be a background check, there's training that's involved, but they're not
Mm-hmm.
medical. So we don't do any like injections of any kind. We don't flush like gallbladder bags or your urine bags. Like we empty them. We empty back any kind of like colostomy bag or GI bag. We can or urinal bag. We can do that,
Mm-hmm.
but we cannot give them medicine. Like we cannot inject them with insulin. We can't feed them their medicine. It's hand over hand method. But we help with cooking, bathing, showering, mobility. We just reminders, companion care. That's the type of care that my company does.
So pretty much just there, like if you wanted to just put it into one word, you're being their friend. You're being
Yeah,
there.
companion.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then comfort support, like if somebody is on hospice and passing away, we provide comfort, we bathe them, we moisten their mouth, lips, make sure they're comfortable when they're passing away. So we provide a lot of comfort. That's why
Okay.
company put it care. And I call
That
my
would make
experience
sense.
the comfort team. Yeah, we're there to provide comfort. Yeah, that's exactly what my company is about, for sure.
Yeah, I always it's like you always see companies that sometimes try and do both, and I feel like that's where it becomes, that's why the comfort part gets overlooked a lot, is because they're really focused on the medical side. And so I feel like you do have to have the two, like they have to be separated. Even when my mom worked as a DSP for a long time in Maine, so direct support professional, which is pretty much that. She was like a home care aide.
Mhm.
And so they didn't really do a lot of medical stuff. So that's, I was able to make that connection. But then she switched to home health care and now she does like a lot of the medical stuff.
Mhm.
And she was like, oh, I miss when it was the, she was, I might go back to that one
Yeah.
because it's just more, she's more in your purpose. She feels like it's more like you're helping them. You're not, and we're not huge medicine people anyway. So it's like, I'm not sure your view on medication, but I'm sure I could guess. But for me, it's like I don't even like to take a Tylenol. Like I don't like to take,
Right.
we don't do birth control. We don't do any of that stuff. Just because I think it messes with a lot of um, your hormones and anything in your body. Even my final paper for my master's in nutrition was on how they should implement more kind of what you're doing in long-term care facilities, because a lot of them, their diet's not right, which is why they end up being weak and need
Right.
more, um, they hurt themselves, or they're being given medications that are affecting other things,
Right.
balance, cognitive, etc., and then they fall, now they're worse. I think the biggest like ode to that is my grandmother. She's 83 and she just had a 15-foot fall. She was on a hiking trail. Um, she was on a hiking trail in Virginia going to see where my sister got proposed to. She had like a misstep. My grandmother's very healthy, but, and I say all that to say a 15-foot fall is as high, scary, risky, especially for someone her age. She is fully recovered.
Oh, wow.
She
Wow.
has no, she had no cognitive issues. I mean, nothing.
That's
She was
impressive.
life flighted and she did wear a neck brace for, however long she needed to, but full recovery, did her physical therapy, but she's good to go. And I
Wow.
say that all because you know how frail 83-year-olds can be. And so I say that because she was out walking every single day. She used to go to, I think it's called like Curves, which is like a Zumba
Oh,
for
yeah, yeah,
older
yeah.
people.
I
Yeah.
know what it is, yeah.
She used to go to that all the time. She used to walk her dog every day. And so I think it's really important, that movement in your body, that
Mm,
not relying on medication. And so when she fell, obviously, like my heart sank. We were on a road trip. I was like, my mom called me. And so it was super scary because my grandmother's always been healthy. She has no health issues. So to hear that was scary.
Terrifying.
And then, yeah, because you had no idea. I mean, she was unconscious. Like, you don't know what the damage is going to be when they wake up. And so then when she woke up, it's like, you're still unsure because they're older. So they bruise really easy. They just look bad. And then it's like, I just saw her over Thanksgiving and was telling her I was pregnant, and it was like nothing changed. And so it was just so crazy to see, like, it really does matter how you take care of yourself because it's going to matter in your recovery later. And so that's how I was like, I know she'll understand because she knows what a normal 83-year-old today looks like. So
100%. And everything you said, I 100% behind that too. Like medication for, and again, I lived overseas for 18 years. So when I moved back 3 years ago, I was like, why every time I went, which wasn't often, but anytime I did go to the hospital, a doctor with like my grandma or one-off situation where I needed to go, it was a lot of medication being pushed. And
first
overseas,
answer, yeah.
overseas, they don't do that. Overseas, like, when was the last time you were outside? How much water are you drinking? Do you walk? It looks like you gained some weight. Like, they are
Yeah.
so, they get to the root of the thing, right? And so here, when I moved back, especially like after my dad passed away and I was just not coping well, I went to the VA and they wanted to put me on OCD medication and like antidepressants. And before I remember this vividly. My doctor, my psychiatrist, she was like, "Hey, I'm going to give you this medication. You're going to want to, I don't know if I could say this, but you're going to want to kill yourself first. Like you're going to have suicidal thoughts first, and then it's going to get better." And I'm like, "Hold on, wait. There's no way how I feel now. I have to feel worse before
Yeah,
I
right.
get better? No, 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 no." So like anytime, like that was like I felt like a reverse culture shock when I moved back to the States and realized that so many medications were being pushed and like never once did my doctor ask me what I ate. Never once did my doctor ask me if I had any physical fitness in my life, and at the time I was binge drinking, I was doing a bunch of drugs, like none of that. Didn't ask for a
Yeah.
urinal, didn't ask for none of that. But the first thing was like, here's some medications. You might jump off a bridge first, but if you don't jump off a bridge, then you'll get better.
You'll get better, yeah. And the US is notorious, like, we we are like such an advanced nation, but we are so unhealthy.
Right.
And I think it's getting better. I would say even like my generation, like, we're not really into drinking right now. It's not really a huge thing. It's more like the mocktails and those types of things, which I love because it's like, I've been there, done that with the drinking. Like, I'm good. I went through my benders. So, okay. And even I'll say, even with, I seen it with my son, my first pregnancy. First thing they wanted to do is come in. You ready for your epidural? No, I'm gonna have a natural birth. Okay, well, let us know when you change your mind. I tell you, Mariam, every hour on the hour, you ready for it? Do you want it? You want something to take the edge off? You want something? And yeah, I was in pain, but it's like our bodies are built to do that. And I got through it. I didn't tear. I had a great recovery. And I think I owe it all to going to the gym, staying active, and then not doing medication. Like, I had a super easy first birth, from start to finish. Admission to the hospital and delivering was 7 hours. I only pushed for 8 minutes.
Wow.
The 3 pushes, he was out. And for a first time mom, that's not very common.
Oh, right.
And even after my son was born, they were like, so he had a little jaundice and they wanted to do like the blue light therapy. And it's like, you just give birth, you're trying to recover, whatever. Well, and I was like, okay, we'll do it for like the 6 hours they wanted, 6, 12 hours, just the light, right? Well, then they were like, oh, we'll keep you longer. We want to do this. His levels aren't up. They tried to push formula because like my breast milk wasn't in yet because he was born 3 weeks early. I was like, no, we're going to keep working on it. I don't like formula. Like, we're going to do this. And it's like, it was hard because I really had to advocate for myself. And it felt like I was being bullied to not advocate for myself. And I feel like that's what you see probably with the older population, especially if they go into those facilities. And then so I was like, okay, I have a medical background, medical knowledge. I know to fix jaundice, he needs vitamin D. You're trying to give it to him through this fake ass light. So I said, I'm going to take my son home. You can release me. We're good to go. Everything's good. I'm going to go put him in his bassinet and sit him outside in, like, the real sun, because I live in Florida. And he was born in April. I took him to his checkup, like his post birth checkup. I think he was like 3 days old. Levels were perfect. And it's like, why was your answer to give him medication and put him under a light where he
Right.
had to wear a hat
Okay.
and sunglasses and like he's 6 pounds? Like, what do you like? He's screaming. I have to feed him through a syringe. Like, I couldn't even pick him up to breastfeed
Mhm.
him.
Right.
Like, I
Yeah.
was like, I'm not doing that. And so we're going home. But
Good.
people are so scared to do that in
Right.
America's healthcare system.
Right.
It's like, I don't get it. But you're right. Overseas and in Europe, because I have family that, like, I'm German, and like in Europe, they're not like that. They're very homeopathic. They're like, how can we fix it? And so
Mhm.
I experienced that all too well in my
Yeah.
pregnancy. So I can only imagine how they try and bully like the older population.
Right. Everything's meds. Everything.
Yeah. So it's awful. But that's why we have wonderful people like you that do advocate for them. So, and that's the goal. But yeah, I like having that firsthand experience was like, dang, if they're talking to me and I'm coherent like this, imagine how they're trying to tell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
So I can only imagine. But anyway, um, I want to talk more. I know you're like, oh, I always forget I wrote my book, but I do want to talk a little bit about that. Because I do think it's a very honest and raw book about your first year in business. And it was a good read, a helpful read, but I wanted to ask you, what was the biggest surprise that you came across in that first year that maybe you didn't expect or that kind of became a bigger issue than it originally was? Like, what was your biggest issue you had in your first year?
The whole year. The entire thing. And the reason why
She's like, the whole first year,
the
throw it
whole
away.
year was rough. And honestly, I just write a lot. I'm a writer. Like I like to read, I like to write. And I remember going through my notes towards the end of the year last year, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I can make this a book. And so, like again, I drafted my book. I hired an editor. I drove him up the wall. I also realized I can't write for shit. Like he was like, you misspelled this. This is not the correct grammar. So like I'm thinking I'm like this articulate, intelligent, no. And so right, so my book is really literally just all my notes from the year. And I just
That's
combined them and like chaptered them out and like yeah. So I think the biggest lesson I would say because the whole year sucked. It sucked. The
okay. Biggest lesson. Let's do
the
biggest
biggest
lesson.
lesson that because I could tell you some stuff that happened. My God. Okay, I'll get to the lesson, but let me just say for the women who are listening, and I know my women, I know my girlies, you can overthink, you can catastrophize, you can make up the worst case scenario, and until you do the thing, I promise you, every single idea, nightmare, disaster that you came up with, the reality is going to be 15 times worse, and you're going to handle it 17 times better. Let me just tell you, because I had a game plan for anything that went wrong, and guess what? None of the things that I thought was going to go wrong went wrong. In fact, things were worse. Things that I never even thought of went wrong. And then luckily, since I didn't overthink it and I just only had time to react and fix the situation, we got past it. There's things that
Mm-hmm.
happened even this year. I'm only in my second year. That would have destroyed companies. I'm telling you, some of the stuff that for example, we had a caregiver first day this caregiver was on shift with us. He was a caregiver from before, from another agency. We hired him on, and he went into this client's home. The client's wife just passed away maybe a few weeks before, and super depressed. Like he just wasn't taking care of himself anymore. Was really, really like just down in the dumps. The family notified us and everything, and we sent this caregiver. The caregiver was preparing him dinner in the kitchen. The client hit a weapon, shot and killed himself in the bedroom.
Wow.
And when I tell you, like like my team kicked into gear and we took care of the client, made sure we took care of the caregiver, made sure he was safe. The client's family notified the family, sheriff's department was involved. We called workers comp, got the caregiver off shift. The caregiver wanted to be on shift again the next day with another client. We just handled that so well. And all of my catastrophizing, all of my worst case scenarios, I would have never guessed something like that would have happened to me. not my
Right. I mean, not even just you, just in general. That's just stuff you don't think about.
No, you don't. And so, like, I would love to have like a one thing, but again, it's just so many small things added together, and then gigantic situations like that where my team and I just handled it and we took care of it. And like, not enough catastrophizing in the world will prepare you for that. Nothing will. It's just you have to go through it. Like, like you don't know until you do the thing, right? But the biggest lesson I learned is literally I just have to take action. Even if
Mhm.
like, there's been so many times, and the old Mariam would have shut down. I would have been like, "Oh, I'm done. I'm leaving. I'm going back overseas. I can make a phone call right now, and I'll be back over there. Don't try me." But to really just sit in the uncomfortableness is what I had to learn to do. I had to be okay with the lack of certainty. I had to be okay with lack of hours. I had to be okay with, hey, if I don't make payroll, I had like this is what it is. This is
Mhm.
so just learning to be okay with being uncomfortable and just you know what I'm talking about when things happening and like you want a quick fix, you want to either make the call or text somebody or go do something to make yourself feel better and literally forcing myself to just continue what I was supposed to do anyway. Okay,
Mhm.
there's a fire happening over there with the county department. There's nothing I can do. I just need to continue on with the marketing campaign I was doing. I have to continue to do the networking event and have to put a smile on my face. I remember right before I went to the blocks, shit hit the fan before I went to the blocks.
It always happens like that. When you got something to do, it's just
And so I went to the blocks with my mind just so heavy. And I literally had to show face. Like I had to show up, be happy, bubbly, like answer all the questions. And the entire time I'm like, oh my God, my company's like burning to the ground. And like and just still showing up every single day. Being and then we're being tested and put in front of like the audiences. Like so to learning to compartmentalize, which is not average for women was the biggest lesson. Like learning to compartmentalize, being okay with being uncomfortable, and just doing the damn thing anyway. Like I didn't fucking want to do 98% of the shit that I wanted to do in the last 2 years, but guess what? I had to. Okay. And
yeah.
then making you, and then after you're on the other side of everything, realizing that not only are you more resilient, the next time something happens, you're a little bit more blunted from it because you're like, oh, this happened, like, I just handled this whole crazy situation over there 2 weeks ago with, like, the client's family in the Bahamas, and, like, I could totally handle this dog being boarded now. Like, there's just so many crazy things that can happen that if you
Like this is easy.
just baby cakes. So, yeah, just getting through it and realizing the next time something happens is gonna be a lot more easier to deal with.
Yeah, one of the like biggest things that I always tell people, because this is what I had to do for myself. I too like to like journal and write down and do that. And actually, when you finished your book, I was like, you know what, let this be my motivator to go do mine. Because I had been working on it and I was just like, same thing. Like it's just in my notes. It's just about me, like whatever,
Mhm.
everything I've been through. And then finally I started working on that because I was like, you know what? Mariam said anyone can do it, so here we are.
You can. And
But
again, it's not like a giant push either. Just as long as
yeah.
it, like what I was doing was blocking off 30 minutes. I started off with 15, 20 minutes and then it went to 30. And then every before my actual work block started, especially on the weekends, because I have two admin work blocks. Friday morning and then every other Sunday. So I
Mhm.
condensed all my admin tasks. I don't give a shit how pertinent they are. I don't give a because what was happening was my calendar was being eaten up by like my to-do list, my admin tasks. So I
Yeah.
started to group them. So when I started to group them into two times. One is every Friday, no matter what. But that second work block is every other Sunday during invoicing Sunday. And I would just front load the book writing. I would like, okay, the first half hour, I'm gonna work on my book and edit it and organize it and stuff like that. Just get everything out of my head onto paper first, do the outline by hand, and then just structure it from there. And eventually, I
Yeah.
started looking forward to it. So eventually, it went from like 30 minutes to like 2 hours on a Saturday. So eventually
People
I get used to it.
people really don't realize the importance of a checklist or like a listing out everything you need to do for the week. That has helped me immensely. But even just going through and writing my book because it really is just a book about everything like I've gone through and everything I've accomplished and that kind of thing and like how to help other people. But even doing that, like one of the things I say in there is like go through and list what you've accomplished because sometimes like I feel like we forget. Like you're so busy putting out fires and dealing with all this other
We prevent
bullshit.
fires. We don't put them out, Natasha.
Okay,
We prevent tragedy. We
preventing.
prevent fires.
Sometimes you got to put them out though, but preventing, be proactive, not
But let's be
reactive.
proactive. We're preventing fires. Yes.
Well, anyway, you're so busy doing everything else that you have going on that you forget like what you've already done.
Mhm.
And so something that I do is at the start of every single month, no matter what, I sit there and I list, okay, what did I do this month? And even now, like if I feel like I had a shitty day or like I just didn't do anything, I'm like, okay, what was my win of the day? And whether it be something so small, like, oh, I went to the gym, that's still a win. And like doing that has helped my mental health immensely. Be like, okay, I got so much shit done. Like Lewis and I were just listing like accomplishments or whatnot. And I was like, damn, like, okay, I got my bachelor's, I got my master's, I just got accepted to my doctorate program. I'm only 29. We own two houses. I'm pregnant with my second child. Like, okay, I run a business, I run a networking group, I have my podcast, which is doing well. I was like, damn, I forgot I did all that. Like we just bought our second house in February. It's like,
Congratulations.
I
Yeah.
forgot, but you're so focused on like, I don't want to say the losses, but you're so focused on what didn't go right that you forget what did.
Mhm.
Or you're so focused on getting it wrong that you don't focus on when you get it right. And I think that is one of the biggest downfalls that, especially females, because we're very critical of ourselves. Like, I think that's one of the biggest things we deal with.
Absolutely. I 100% agree. I mean, and we're human. Evolution is what we're literally made of, right? So it's like once you achieve the thing, there's another thing to achieve. And so
Mm-hmm.
it's being okay with it too, obviously we're beating ourselves up to keep ourselves safe at the end of the day. But
Yeah.
evolution is part of the game, and it's just, one thing after another. And the wants get bigger and the dreams get bigger, So, and it's just being okay with it and allowing for that too.
Yeah, I think you just have to allow yourself to like know everything's not going to be perfect and go
Exactly.
with what comes and how it comes, and then just adjust fire as you need to. But those were probably two of the um, compartmentalizing. That is definitely a difficult task for females. I know, like, especially after I became a mom, that became really difficult to not worry about my son all the time when I'm at work, or to not worry about like everything was just felt all together. And I think that's why a lot of moms get overwhelmed. And so, like, I try and break that up. Like, you still need to have you time. I always say self care isn't selfish because it's literally how you take care of yourself. And if you can't be there for yourself, how are you going to be there for somebody else? And that was something that I had to go back and like really reteach myself, because it's like, okay, if I'm like really stressed and not relaxed and just on edge, how am I going to take care of my son? And so I had to start booking the facials, go get the nails done, get the massage. Like, Lewis gets his monthly, bi-weekly, I don't know what it is, something massages, and it's like rejuvenates him for the next day or the next week or whatever it
Good.
is.
Good.
But it's like you have to do those things. And I think a lot of people feel guilty taking care of themselves, which is crazy to me. But I guess we all go through that. We're like,
We do.
nah.
And I always pray that other people get, and that's part of the what we do for families too. There's so many of the caretakers prioritize their spouse, their grandma, their mom. They're out of guilt primarily, and then they start
Yeah.
to get resentful, after a while. And it's when we step in. I've had my team like send dinner to the house of the mom. She didn't have to cook. I've asked, even with my caregivers, my actual employees, I booked like spa days with them, make sure that they're taking a break. When you caretake for others, you let yourself go because you're so focused on them. But if you don't prioritize yourself, you're not going to be able there to be there to take care of, whoever you need to take care of. And that's one of the things that a lot of families that we have always say, like, now we have time for ourselves. Like, now I can go take a break with my friends, or I can have dinner and not have to worry about like my mom, not being fed and taken care of. So it's
Hmm.
important that you do prioritize yourself, because if you don't, everything else is starting going to become resentful to you.
And I think that that's a huge part in like that's important in what you do as well, is you do take care of the caregivers themselves.
Oh yeah.
Because at the end of the day, if you have somebody who is, yeah, they might be good at their job, but if they're truly miserable and they're not themselves healthy, again, how are you going to be expected to take care of somebody else?
Exactly.
And I think a lot of employers forget about their employees, honestly, not even just in home care or healthcare or whatever agency it is. A lot of employees, they forget, or employers, they forget that their employees are also something they have to take care of. They think payroll is just it. But there's a whole other aspect of that
Oh,
I
for
think it's getting
sure.
better, but a lot of times it's overlooked. It's like people are so scared to even take their own PTO days and they're days you've earned off. Why are you afraid to ask for it off? Not me. I'm like, yeah, I'm taking my PTO. We out.
Yeah. Well, I mean, not a lot of people know this, but I have no background in home care, medical, nothing. Like you, I know your background is medical. I'm not. I'm an IT girl. I was HR in the army. Like when I started the home care agency, I had no idea what I was doing. I actually went to CNA school the month before we actually opened our doors because I'm like, if a caregiver calls off or I don't have a caregiver,
She's like, I have to know.
I have
Yeah.
to know what I'm doing. So I actually went to CNA school. I never actually tested for CNA school. I literally just wanted to go for theory and the
To
skills
get the knowledge
to
and
get the
see what they
knowledge.
do. Yeah.
And then once I started doing the caregiving thing, I was like, oh my gosh, like, this is a lot. But I knew when I started the company, I was like, if I prioritize my caregivers, I take care of them, I know they're going to take care of the client. I know
Yeah.
that. And so I just started, I mean, was it great the first like 6 months? I didn't know. I ate shit with the hiring process. Like I didn't know what a good caregiver was, honestly.
Yeah.
And then eventually I learned real fast what a good caregiver is, what a not so good caregiver is. And we just been like QC quality controlling it ever since. And we
Hmm.
just push for hire, we get rid of the ones we don't need, we keep the solid ones. So now I have a solid team, but I prioritize them. I take care of them. We do a company events every quarter. I sit with them. I ask them what's going on, and they've told me that they've never ever had not just home care, anything that they work
Yeah.
for, they've never had that done for them. At this end of year, December 20, was it literally the end of this month, the end of this year, I'm having a company-wide like town hall where I'm going to go over how we've done for 24, 25 and what the plan is for 26. And
Yeah.
a couple of people that are in the industry are like, oh, you're just giving, there's too much communication, there's too much contact. No, I much rather over communicate and have the loyalty that I have with my employees than to under communicate and let them sit there in the dark.
Yeah. Well, and the other part behind that is, okay, well, if the way that they were doing it was working so well, then why are you not, you know what I mean? Like your business and your business model and your vision and your mission works because of what you're doing. So why
Exactly.
would you do what
Anything.
they're doing that obviously doesn't work?
I do not have nearly the problems that they do with their employees.
Yeah.
Nearly the problems that I don't know if you saw, I just posted a short on my social media a few weeks ago about how a home care agency owner was trying to poach one of a group of my caregivers.
I
We were,
think I did see that one. Yeah.
yeah, like there was a 24-hour case. I had I have great caregivers. This home care agency guy came in and started like spoiling my care, bringing them donuts, bringing them coffee, dropping off his business card. And guess what my caregivers did? They all sent me screenshots of his business card, and one even recorded the conversation. And like,
Yeah.
Mariam, this was going on, and I told him, I'm like, listen, in California is non-compete. Like, I can't make you stay with me or not stay with me, but just so you know, you're like super like I appreciate you, and
Yeah.
that's not the conversation I had with the other guy, the owner. I ended up calling him, and that's not how the conversation went. I let him know real quick, this is not how you do business. I'm here to
Right.
support you. I am one of the most generous people you'll ever meet. I'm here to share any secrets that I have to make you better. But
Not the secrets.
do not go behind my back and try to take my caregivers. That is so unprofessional. So
It's so slimy. Like
it
it's
is.
nasty.
Mm.
And what are you going to gain from that?
None of
Because at the end of the
none of
day,
the caregivers went. None. And now
yeah.
next time I ever see him and we have a client that we share, guess what? I'm pulling out of that contract. And I told the agents that my referral partners, I'm like, if I would refuse to do business with this guy. So they've lost me as a primary home care. I'd much rather lose clients than to deal with this sliminess. I
Yeah.
just not.
Well, and at the end of the day, people are going to go where they feel valued. So, yeah, like donuts and whatever, cool. But do you really care about me as a person? Because honestly, to me, like a donut is like, you don't care about me. Like,
Yeah, it was just and to see I actually got emotional because like when I sent out a mass message to that group of caregivers, every single one, maybe one didn't respond. There were like six of them. Five of them responded with like, Mariam, you're like literally, this is the best company we ever worked for. He can bring us an entire freaking pizza company. Like, no, like we're gonna stay with you. And they did. And every single one of
Hmm.
them did.
And
Every
I think it comes down to the fact that you have for lack of a better word, you have a give a fuck. Like you have no, like one, you have a personal connection to why you started this, your dad. So of course, every client you have, every person you run into, everything is always going to connect back to that. And nobody is going to ever be more important than your parents. And so you have that going for you. I don't know why this guy started his business, but I'm going to guess it's probably not that. And then, so you always will have that personal connection. And then you treat every single person that you're meeting like you're raising them with your company. Like you said, you're in year two. So they're growing with you. They're seeing the trials and tribulations. They're seeing the wins. They're seeing you at your best, at your worst. And I think that that open communication is a good thing because nobody wants to see like their boss and be like, "Oh my God, her life is so perfect." And what you know what I mean? Like employees want to see that you're a real person.
Oh,
Like the
for
people
sure.
you're working for and you're working with want to see that you're a human being. And so I think you showing that and you showing that compassion shows them like, oh, she really cares. Like she really wants these clients, really wants us to be
Yeah,
happy, healthy, our best.
I hope so. And they say that too. You know,
She
they
said, I hope so.
yeah, and and as you know, you've known me long enough to know I'm very honest. I'm very
Yeah.
direct. I'm gonna say it how it is, and I'm gonna be vulnerable too. Like there's been times where there's things I don't necessarily want to share, but I know that it's gonna benefit whoever's listening or my employees. And
Mm-hmm.
again, I've always been approached ever since I've been in the industry. Stop sharing this. You're saying too much. You're doing this. You're no, but that's what's helped me. There's a reason why we tripled the size of the company in 2025, and we're gonna do the same in 2026.
Mm-hmm. And I think that just comes down to like it's too many outside opinions. Like they're not in your as inner circle. They don't really know what's going on and they don't know what you've built your company on. So as long as like you're true to your mission, your values, what you respect and what you believe in, then there's no reason you shouldn't be successful. I think it's when people lose sight of that that they get the you're sharing too much, you're oversharing, you're letting them know too much.
You're
But
giving away your secrets. Stop telling people what you're doing with your business. And I'm like, no, if it even helps one person, I'll be fine. And then honestly, nobody, I can give you every single thing I've ever done. I promise you, people will not do it. People will not do it.
mhm,
I
yeah.
literally created a freaking book that gives you a play-by-play of exactly what I've done, who's replicated it.
Mhm. And
I'm
and
like,
that's the thing. People are like, "Oh, you give too much. You tell your whole blueprint, so to say."
yep,
But the thing is, it's still like, yeah, you can have the blueprint, but it still requires action. And I say this all the time, like you can lay out the blueprint of your business or your idea or your plan or whatever, but no one is going to have the same heart and the same grit and the same passion that you have behind it to make it actually happen. Reading and writing something and putting it into action are so different. They're worlds apart that, yeah, you could tell everybody I mean, if that was the case, everyone would be a millionaire. Like, there's so many books on how to be a millionaire, but no one's doing it.
literally, right.
Like,
Well, even like the book before I published it, I remember one of our largest referral partners, I was telling her about the book, and she's like, "You're gonna give away your secrets, like you're what are you thinking?" And everybody who read my book and took action on it, none of them were in home care. None of them. Like I know me and you talked about after you read my book, and then I had another friend who was in real estate in Dubai that talked to me about like there's people completely removed from home care that actually took action. So like all
yeah.
the like fear about me giving away the industry secrets on how I built my company.
And it's just really crazy because it's like, isn't that the whole point is to help people? Isn't that the point of your business? And like
Yeah,
just in general, humanity, like your whole goal is to help people.
yeah,
So if what you say is going to help somebody else, it might not even be someone in business. It might just be someone who has a sick parent and they
right.
and they could be like, this is what I do. Or, oh, I saw a video, Mariam said to do this. And they
Right.
might not need a home care person. They can
They
be
get
that
to do
home
it
care person.
themselves, right? Exactly. And that's what my I wanted my content to be. I wanted it to be actual tactical tips and advice that people that are at home giving care to their loved ones, like that it
Yeah.
can actually use. Yeah.
Like I be watching those videos sometimes, and I think it was the one about like the plate color.
The red plate, yeah.
Yeah, I was like, see, that's so helpful because no normal person is going to know that unless you're in that world. But everybody has parents. Everybody
No,
has,
no, I know at least 80% of the people in my life have some kind of elderly care situation happening, either
yeah.
professional care or they're doing it themselves. Almost every single one of the people I know.
Because at the end of the day, there's always someone that's going to be older than you in
Yeah.
your life, whether it be a parent, a friend, a colleague, someone you're close to. And sometimes people can't afford like a home care. They can't send them to a facility. They can't get someone to come. So if you take that up, and people won't take it upon themselves to go research, but if it's just right there and you're like, oh, I remember Mariam's page, Premier Comfort Care, like she gives all these tips, and you just are looking on there, it's really, that's what it should be about. And I mean, same with my like women's networking page. I just put a bunch of tips or what tricks or whatever in business on there. Or even with the podcast, like we always talk about like depending on who, but it's like free resources or resources for entrepreneurs or things that are like people don't talk about because they're free. But
Hmm.
everyone knows about paid memberships, everyone knows about paid networks,
Right.
but nobody knows about
The
the
free
free
stuff.
events, the
Mhm.
free resources, the ones that you pay for with your taxes. And that was always is what blew my mind. But yeah, I never understood the giving away your blueprint aspect because isn't that the whole idea? Like you're supposed to want people to be better.
Yeah. And take action. I genuinely want people to use my information. Like, I please take action,
Right?
use
She's
it.
like, I don't just sit
I
here
did
and film
not
this for fun.
I did not write a freaking book in the middle of building a multi-million-dollar company for you to just have it as a night table like decoration.
Oh, what's that called? A paperweight?
Right, exactly. Like I want people and I love the feedback that I get. Of course the reviews are nice, but like it means so much more to me when like I know you reached out to me, a few of my other friends reached out to me and like I really appreciated the chapter. It motivated me to do this thing. That
Yeah.
just fills my soul. And so yeah, I'm not again, I would have not spent all that time in the middle of building my company to write a book to not do anything with it.
And it more so it just helps you live in your own purpose, like
Yeah.
for you specifically. I mean, what you're doing and what you're putting forward. And like I said, just that's the whole goal. I really don't understand the secrets. Like whatever. There's no secrets. Like the secret is called discipline and hard work. That's the secret.
Just do the thing, bro. Just do the thing.
But that's what people don't want to do. So many
Right.
people can read and have the knowledge and know how to do something,
Mhm.
but are they going to go do it?
Right.
And,
Exactly.
and that's really where what it comes down to. But you always you always say this. I feel like you're always just like be a good human. You just be a good person. Be a
At
good
one
human.
point, it was like my end cap to all my reels. Like, be a good human.
Yeah. And so I like that always sticks with me. Like one of my other friends, she says it a lot, and she's like, just be a good person.
Yeah.
But every time she says that, I just think like, just be a good human. I
Yeah.
always think
Yeah.
about you. So it just made me laugh because I thought about that right now. But you did say that a lot, and I think it just says like more to who you are, like manners, consideration, accountability. And I think the biggest part, like kind of what we were just talking about, is like playing victim. Like she said, "Yup."
Oh my God. Don't get me started down this rabbit hole.
All right. Well, we'll circle back to that one, but
Yeah.
I think it just comes down to that. Just with everything and anything you do, just end it with like, does this make me a good human? Like, does it make me a good person? And I think that is gonna set anybody up for success. Every decision you make, like, is this gonna have a positive outcome? And I think that would eliminate a lot of problems in the world. But
It's gonna help you, like, obviously, you want to do the right thing. You want to be good to not just others, but yourself. And it's like, if the decisions can
mhm.
be made, at the end of the day, will you be able to look at yourself in the mirror and feel fine and not gross or icky or like there is a weird comfort when you play victim. There is. There's this
Yeah.
really like, oh, so my life is just so hard. Oh, woe is me. There's like there is this like I hate to say it, there's this like weird little comfort that you get when you're it's like, oh, that's not my fault. That was it was done to me. It's so much
Mhm.
harder to be like, nope, I got to do something about it. And what are the things that I can do about it? And how am I going to feel at the end of the day? Is it going to hurt anyone? Is it going to hurt me? Am I going to be able to sleep and look at myself in the mirror at night, you know?
My biggest thing with that is my sisters and I get into this all the time. They're like, "Oh, your life is so perfect, this and that." And I'm like, maybe to you. Like I let you see what I let you see. But at the end of the day, it's like, okay, so we, went through the foster care system. We were all different ages. I was 15, they were 12, and the youngest set of twins were 8. And so I say to them all the time, it's like they love to blame that circumstance. People love to be a victim of circumstance. And it's like, to me, I'm like, we were all dealt the same cards. You had the same opportunity. You could have chose to raise your right hand and join the military. You had every right to do so. You could have went to college for what I went to school. You could go start a business. You really could do any of these things that, like, whatever. And then it always comes down to, well, your life is so perfect because you had this. And then they just blame it on, the foster care or like what they watched growing up. But at the end of the day, I was probably the one most shaped by that because I was the oldest.
Yep.
I was 15 when everything happened, but we all watched the same thing. So I hate when people do victim of circumstance. That's like my biggest victim card I hate, because it would have been so easy for me to be a statistic. It would have been so easy for me to just say fuck it, not go to school, not do what I needed to do. Like it would have been. But who is that going to help in the future? Certainly not myself, and certainly not my family.
Exactly.
And
Exactly.
it's just like, I think it comes down to that breaking generational curses aspect. It's like, it really is on me and my husband right now. Like, we're doing that for both of our families. And that is a hard burden to carry for anybody. But
Mhm.
it's just, I could play victim. It would be so easy, like you said, it would be so easy to be like, yeah, well, I didn't have a dad to teach me that. So it would be so easy.
It's a cop out, right?
But
And
who is that going to help?
it's a convenient
Nobody.
cop out. Yeah, exactly. And
And it
it's
made
like
me,
the whole victim thing is like you want pity. And I'm
yeah,
damned. I'm sorry. I do not want anyone feeling sorry for me. That's just a pathetic, low level.
that makes me feel worse. But misery loves company. That's what it is.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
yeah, when someone feels sorry for me, I hate that. I hate
I
that
do not.
feeling. I hate that look. I hate I hate it all. Just
No, it's so uncomfortable for like well, I feel like we picked ourselves up in the in the life situations that we've had and
yeah.
luck. It's not we were charmed. It's not none of that. It's literally us making the decision over and over every day. It's not one time
Mhm.
decision. Oh, we joined the military. That's what made our lives easy. No, fuck no. Fuck, if anything, that
If
could have been
anything, that made that
like,
shit harder.
I was gonna say that could have turned real quick for us. But it's constantly you're constantly making the decision to do the thing that you need to do. And it's like the whole
Yeah.
victim thing is like that there is no decision. Let me just sit in it. So I totally get what you're saying, especially with the sibling thing. Like you could live the same exact life, experience the same experiences, and they have a completely different
I
mentality.
swear we have like different memories of the same childhood.
Uh,
And
uh-huh.
I say that because my dad was like in and out of jail for selling drugs when I was a kid. And so obviously I didn't grow up with a very present father. And my sibling, like I just went and actually reconnected with him recently. He's been out finally, like for 4 consecutive years. He's like has a job, he's doing well finally. So I told him, like in the beginning when he first got out, like, hey, if you stay out and you're out of trouble for at least a year, we can talk about having a relationship. Because I'm not about to go see you and then you go back to jail 2 months later. Like, why am I going to waste my time? I'm not going to do that to my son. I'm not going to do that to myself. And, but my sisters, they are so set on until he pays me child support for 26 years of life, I want nothing to do with him. I'm like, do you think he has that? Like, he's, you know what I mean? Like, he just spent most of 3/4 of his life in jail. Like, what are you gaining from that? And I always say, like,
Are we, do we have the same sisters?
at the end of the day, the forgiveness isn't for him, it's for you. And it really was so I could move on with my life. Like, at the end of the day, no matter what he did, he's always going to be my dad. If he gets sick, I'm going to have to be there and take care of him. If he, you know what I mean? Like, did he take care of me the best? No. But that's not godly. That's not like the right thing to do. That's not it's not being a good human. That's what it is. And so I tell my sisters, it's like they're so dead set on like I'm never gonna talk to him again. And he'll ask, like my sister just had a baby November 20th, and he didn't even know she was pregnant. So
Yeah,
it's like it just I don't know, that breaks my heart in that aspect because they're still claiming the victim of circumstance and it's affecting other people. It's like I'd understand if he like got out, went back to jail again, but like it's been 4 years. Like I think he learned his lesson. Took a long time, but like,
I know. Yeah, this
and
is.
it's I don't know. I just feel like people love to it's the cop out. People love to take that in business in their personal
It's
life.
easier. It's easier. It's easier to cop out than to actually face your dad because it's uncomfortable.
And I was just gonna say, is that why you think like personal responsibility has become so uncomfortable for people? Like, what do you think the main reason behind that is?
It's the coddling. It's the do things that are easy. You don't have to have a hard life. No, yes, the fuck you do. Like conversations, hard conversations is what's gonna move, your life forward. It's gonna build your tolerance, your emotional stability, emotional aware, like intelligence. It's all coming from hard conversation. Let me tell you something. When my dad passed away, fortunately, we were part of a trust, and then obviously I worked as a contractor overseas, so I had money. Um,
Yeah.
from working overseas and then my dad passing away. So I was retired for like half a year. That was the worst freaking year of my entire life. Like I was so miserable and like finally I was like, you know what, I have to do something. And
Yeah.
so we have this like fantasy in our head about like an easy life where we don't have to like work too hard and don't have to, but if we didn't have to work so hard or experience the bad in life, there's no contrast to appreciate the good in life. So if I
Hmm.
never experienced like the rough patch that I had with my family or my business or when I was in the military, I wouldn't know how good I have it now, right? And so it's like
Yeah.
when you don't experience like any type of hard conversation or you have these easy fallback answers of no, my life is hard because I didn't have a parent growing up or like dad left you the better house or whatever the fuck, whatever. When it's easier for you to fall back onto that versus actually doing something about it, having the hard conversation, confronting your dad, with that situation of you guys being in foster care, or me having the conversation with my employees if they're fucking up. Like it is
Yeah.
uncomfortable. It is hard, and so many people don't want that feeling. And I feel
Well,
like there's like this whole like cult or like there's just like this whole like sexiness about having anxiety and like being stimulated. Like yes, it's human nature to have anxiety. It's human nature, but you have to not make it a burden to everybody else. Yeah, you're anxious, and
yeah.
everybody at the party has to look at you like, what's wrong with her? And like, instead of you just going up to the person to talk or not being the prettiest girl, like I had a conversation with a younger friend of mine. And she was like, "Oh, I don't want to go to that gym because like at the gym I'm at now, like I'm the prettiest one there." I'm like, "Let put me in a gym where I'm the ugliest. I promise you, I'm gonna be the hottest one eventually." You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So it's like putting yourself in environments where they are uncomfortable, putting yourself in an environment that you have to do the hard thing. You understand when things are good, then things are really good then because you have that contrast, and then it just makes you more resilient for the next situation.
Well, and people love to say, like, okay, why is there suffering in the world? It's because suffering puts pleasantries in perspective.
Yeah,
So, like, if you didn't have suffering, you wouldn't know what good is.
right.
You would just think everything is just, you just be la la la, like in your own planet, like we're good. But that suffering, whether it's personal or someone else, it really puts everything into perspective, and that's really all that anything in life is just about shift your perspective or put yourself in someone else's shoes, and you might see it a little differently.
Or confront the thing you're avoiding and blaming.
Yeah.
If you're blaming your dad,
Even
you talk to him.
even like my foster father, he passed away actually while I was in basic training. And I remember that was like the worst. That's why people say, "Oh, the army was great for you." No, that was like the worst years of my life. It's
Yeah.
good now, but basic training sucked. And actually, it taught me a lot about, what I didn't want to be a part of. My senior drill sergeant, she was a female. And, I thought she would be the compassionate one. And she actually,
It was the worst one.
oh, she was so awful. I was obviously crying because I was very close to this man.
Yeah.
And she told me, well, Sudsbury, it looks like you got a lesson in resiliency today. And looking back, yes, she was right. It was a very great lesson in resiliency, but you didn't have to say it then. But
A little bit of empathy would have been nice. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, that didn't exist apparently in basic training. So it just brings me back to like even that is it really is like you have to learn to be resilient. You have to, like I could have let that break me. They asked if I wanted to recycle. They asked if I wanted to leave and get out. And I was only 2 weeks into basic training. I could have easily left,
Yeah.
but it's like I'm here. I want to see this through. And did it suck? Yeah, but it's like I don't think I would be who I am today if I didn't stick it through and find out what I could do and what I needed to do. I think.
Hmm.
So it's just you got to go through the hard shit. That's all it is.
You have to. Agreed.
But as I lose my voice over here, um, and then I wanted to say, how's a way that you balance compassion with also enabling excuses? Like, how do you teeter that, especially like with the line of work that you're in? Like, you have to maintain a certain level of compassion, right? But how do you manage that while also teetering that line or dealing with the excuses, maybe not necessarily from like your employees specifically, but maybe people in the field or clients or families? Like where do you?
Well, I was gonna say for my employees, there's policies and like procedures in place for under being
Mhm.
understanding of like life situations that happen, and then when the tolerance is just being tested, like
Yeah.
there's a lot of life happening with you, like one of my favorite sayings to my employees is like, we can be friends, but you can't be my employee. Like we can be homies, but like there's always seem to be a car accident on the way to work, or your grandma is sick for the fifth time this month. So
Yeah.
for like my employees, I have a very structured policy set in place, and there's like a procedure
Mm.
and all this thing. But with clients, I want clients or even people in the industry or even my friends really.
She said,
I
let's just circle back to that one.
Let's go back to that. Well, so I feel like the difference between like being compassionate and understanding and then like you're being taken advantage of is just like like I guess to me it's been how much is it happening. I
Yeah.
understand if it's like here and there and it's like an anomaly and it's just like out of character for like an employee or out of character for a client or but there's actual friends and family members I just stopped talking to in the last like 2 years because it was always it didn't matter what. Like, there is so much compassion that you can give until it's
Hmm.
draining. And the moment I start to feel any kind of emotional drain or like with the company, if our company culture starts like to go down the drain, I had a
Hmm.
huge like I terminated about 25 people in the last like 90 days because
Wow.
the culture took a dive, and it all came from just me making excuses over and over, allowing like the manager that shouldn't have been here for as long as she was. They're like, oh no, it's fine. She's going through this thing. Oh
I
no.
don't know if I could. I don't mean to cut you off. I was gonna say I just don't know how I could, if I could do that. The firing, the hiring, the like. So do you personally fire them, or do
So
you?
for the caregivers, I now have a team. The management team, I do the hiring and firing. But let me tell you, like the first like 8 months, 6 to 8 months, I lost sleep over like terminating. I would cry and like
Yeah, that's what I mean. It would tear me up emotionally. I think I
it.
don't know.
You get used to it. Well,
You're desensitized.
that's part of the reason why I have policies and procedures in place now. Because when I first started
Hmm.
what I was doing, like yes, I was in the military, yes, I had soldiers, I was in E6, I was deployed with a lot of them, like but civilians and
It's
the
different.
business
Yeah.
is different. And so the first like 6 to 8 months is really with my biggest learning curve where I started implementing like okay, time and attendance policy, appearance. I'm gonna give you 3 chances. You got to get it together. I started, I always was going to do evals. So when I have a conversation with them, one on one, I'm like, hey, listen, this is where you're doing great and this is where you're fucking up. I need you to fix this right here. So by the time that we get to the conversation of like you're being terminated, luckily after like the first 8 months, it was never a surprise anymore. 9 times out of
Yeah.
10, they'll bow out gracefully themselves because I put so many parameters in place to like, hey, this is the expectations, this is your areas of responsibilities, and I expect you to do this. And if you can't do it, listen, we can be homies, but you can't be my employee. You got to go.
Hmm.
And so luckily now, by the time that they get the termination or I had that final conversation with them, it's super respectful, it's
They
amicable,
expect it at that
they
point.
expect it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I,
It's
I
always
think that that's helpful when you have like standards and like procedures in place so that you can go about that. Because that's what I've always, like you said, I would lose sleep. I would be emotional. I'd be like, oh my God, I'm going to take away their job. Like, you know what I
It
mean?
felt
So,
like that real heavy, like the first like year, but then now that I have all the stuff in place and
yeah.
clear, direct communication, like I don't sugarcoat some of it. In fact, some of my text messages have been deleted by my managers, like Mariam, no, that's well, let's reword that a little bit. So
Like,
like,
you can't say that.
we can't say it like that. Let's say it like this. But that's helped a lot because now expectations are very, very clear. And from the,
Yeah.
yeah.
But again, that's just that learning curve. I mean, you're only in year two, so better figure out now than year five.
Right, 5 year, right.
I think that's like one of the biggest like choke points for a lot of businesses is they're hiring and they're firing. It's like, what kind of taste are you going to leave in their mouth about you? So now when people leave, you know, like, okay, it was very cordial, it was very understanding, like they expected it. Um, but to almost finish, I think the last thing or one of the last things I want to say is what is like one piece of advice that you would give people who are really struggling to take accountability?
Um, One piece of advice for anyone taking, like, look at the situation. If you're always the one that's being done wrong, you're always the one that gets the short end of the stick, you're the one that always dates the shitty dudes, you're the one that never has the dream job, maybe it's you. But baby steps, let's do baby steps. Maybe start in one area of your life, like your fitness, for example. Like if you,
Yeah.
I am a firm believer, as you are, nutrition is exactly what you can work out all you want, but if your food intake isn't right, so maybe at minimum just start drinking a lot of water. Like start with a baby micro step. You don't have to go into like taking accountability as far as like talking to your sister you haven't talked to in 20 years because you feel like you did you dirty. I'm not saying go there.
Yeah.
Let's start
Yeah.
with like a baby step. Like if you know, for example, your hair is always shitty. Like you can't grow your hair past a certain length. Maybe stop bleaching it. Maybe, use proper products. It's such a micro step into accountability that people make it seem like
Yeah.
a big, huge monster. But if you start with baby steps in small things, like for example, for me, alcohol, I was a binge drinker. And for me,
Mhm.
I already knew in order for me to start taking accountability, that had to go. That habit of binge drinking like I needed to stop, and nobody was forcing me. Just because my friends wanted to go out to a bar, it wasn't my friend's fault that I was gonna want to drink and black out. So
That's literally me. Like how I was before. It's funny. Like Lewis would be like, "What happened to college, Natasha?" I became a mom.
Well,
Like,
have a baby, and that will fix all your accountability problems.
yeah, pretty much. I mean,
Yeah.
it does force you to kind of grow up a lot, but yeah, I used to go out and drink all the time. Like, I mean, that's what I was known for in college. Like, it was just going. I was a party girl. Like, I went out, I had a good time, but
Mm,
I still kept my grades. I was a biology major, so it was like I had the best of both worlds.
yeah.
But really, it was that like I had to stop obviously because I was pregnant. So it was like, okay, you get pregnant, you stop drinking. And then it's like now that we've been living life and I wasn't pregnant, like, in between, he's like, oh, have a drink with me. And it's just, I have no interest in it anymore. Like, I think I know like all the negative effects. I know what it does to my body, my mental. I don't like not being in control of myself. So it's like, I had to take that accountability of myself. And it's like, I know if I go have one, I want to want two, I want to have three. Like I could stop. It's not like an addiction, so to say, but it's like I want to have all or none. So I'll have a drink or whatever at dinner here and there now. Not now, but
Hope not now.
a few
Yeah.
months ago. um, but it's like I have no interest to go out anymore. Like go out and get drinks, like go to the bars. Like it's just not my scene anymore.
Yeah.
And I think that's coming from that wellness take of it. But um I want to do some quick rapid fire fun questions real quick before we wrap up.
Okay.
So I think you kind of touched on them in the beginning, but maybe some of them. Um, One, I just have to ask, like, I see I feel like you're obsessed with sardines, like all the
That was not where I thought this was going. Okay, let's talk about sardines.
it wasn't where I was gonna go first, but I had to ask you because it's like I know there's great benefits, but like the taste, I
Like,
don't know.
have you had sardines?
By themselves, no. I can honestly say no, but I
Okay.
don't like fish or seafood. So it might not be for me.
Okay, I was gonna say, if you don't like, because my whole thing with when people ask me about it is like, if you like sushi, if you like fish, you need to try sardines. If you have not tried them, don't think that there's this weird taste because you don't know what the taste is. But if
Yeah.
you don't like seafood of any kind, I would just miss it. I love the taste. It's not gross or stale or fishy or anything like that. I love seafood. I love sushi. Like I eat raw.
Oh, so it's probably not a big deal to you.
No, it's not. And honestly, nowadays, like the quality is insane. Like the Oscar brand that I get, the King Oscar brand, it's so freaking good. It's so good. And then you just put some garlic chili sauce on it. My mouth is watering.
She's like, I need some right now.
I'm eating some after this podcast. I'm gonna eat some.
Well, I had to ask because I feel like you're literally always eating
I
them. And when
am
you're
every
not, you're
single.
like, if you have a problem, eat sardines. Eat sardines. And I'm like, all right.
I
Remind me to not ask Mariam for any advice because her answer is going to be eat
If
sardines.
I come to visit you, you better have sardines in your pantry for me.
Just for you. Don't worry.
Yes,
I won't be eating
I
them.
won't finish them all. Don't you worry.
Lewis might eat them with you. He's like into seafood and stuff.
Oh,
And
good.
I
Good.
don't think he's ever tried them, to be honest. But
Bro,
I'll let him know. Mariam said they have 1,000 benefits. So,
they do. I love them.
but past that, this is where we'll go now. What would you say your like theme song of your life is right now?
Oh my gosh, my theme song?
Yeah, if you had to pick one, like what would
I
Mariam's
don't,
theme song
of
be?
course, I don't even listen to music. I love Morgan Wallen, and I'm trying to think of a song.
That surprises me.
I love, so it's either soca music or Morgan Wallen. It's so random.
Yeah.
It's either
I love
soca.
Morgan Wallen too. I just didn't expect like I don't
I
know why.
I love Morgan Wallen. Um,
She's like, I'm thinking, I'm thinking.
yeah, because I've not listened to music in so long. Because like the last couple years, I've just been really online.
She's been in her cave.
It's been in my like fortified office making this money. I keep thinking cowgirl. I'm gonna go with that.
If that's what you keep thinking, girl, let's go with it. I love it. You like it, I love
I
it.
literally, Natasha, I don't have any of the music apps. I don't have Spotify. I don't have Apple Music. I literally just don't listen. I'm a like I listen to Audible.
That's true. I do see you always posting
I was
your book
gonna say, do
in
you
your
remember me
phone.
post on my story where I was at the gym and my phone's like, turn down the book.
It's too loud. Too dramatic in here. It's funny because I'll as weird as it sounds like I mean, I'll listen to my own podcast sometimes while I'm at the gym because obviously like recording it and then listening to it are two very different things.
Right.
Or like I love to listen to podcasts when I work out. Like my friends think that's weird, but I don't.
I don't think so either. I love podcasts.
Especially because a lot of the time I listen to like self-help or like business leveled podcasts.
Mhm.
So sometimes it's like my way of turning my brain off from my own business to like
Yes, agreed.
listen to something else.
100% agreed.
So I do that a lot too. So I guess like I don't think it's weird, but my friends are like, you don't listen to like aggressive music while you work. No.
No. Or my girlfriend got in my car the other day and she went to turn on the music on her phone because she has the music, I don't. And it was like super loud. She's like, damn, you listen to your books loud sound in this car. Yeah, I totally get it. And I think you're
Not
normal.
you listen to your books loud. She's like, I'm trying to
I
be
don't feel
there.
like I do. And apparently they're like, yeah, full volume.
You never know. And then well, I already asked you about the sardine. I had to move that to the top. But essentially, that was really it. I asked you the last piece of advice. Is there anything that you want to leave everyone with, like something that you want to tell everybody, whether it be like your number one piece of advice, tip, business, personal?
I guess I can leave with the personal. Like on again, like I want to really drive, like I want people to understand you have to do the hard thing. Like I feel like we're so coddled and spoiled nowadays where like the hard thing is not the way you want to go. But that's where like literally what the thing that you're afraid of doing or the thing that you have anxiety about is literally where your fulfillment is hiding, where your happiness is hiding. When you're rotting, like the kids say, rotting in bed or like, doom scrolling or whatever, that's a lot easier to do than to like get dressed, get ready, and go outside to go do something when you don't want to. It's the times where you don't want to do the thing or the
Yeah.
that you're having the uncomfortable, like you don't want to have the uncomfortable conversation is where you'll feel better. No,
I,
you're not fucking depressed. No, you're not overstimulated. You're not having anxiety. No, you're just not doing what the hell you're supposed to be doing because you were avoiding it. That's where your anxiety and boredom and stress is coming from.
I I tell everyone, like, if you feel depressed, because I don't believe in that word, if you feel,
I don't either. I don't
if
either.
you feel depressed, go outside. Like,
Or ask them what's going on that you're avoiding. There's some, if you're depressed, I'm glad you put that in quotes because I don't believe in that shit either. What are you avoiding? What is something that's bothering you? What is something that
yeah.
you're doing that, like, for example, I have an amazing girlfriend. I love her so much. She's not make me and her had a couple of mentorship conversations on Zoom, and she's just not where she is at financially. And so
Hmm.
she goes out, parties, drinks, does all the things, and then just spends the rest of the week, Monday through Friday, complaining about how her business is not where it's at. And it's like, okay, well, where do you think we can fix this? So it's like,
Yeah.
it just do the hard fucking thing. Do the thing that you're trying to avoid or the thing that scares you, and that's probably where your depression is going to disappear, where you're not
Yeah.
anxiety.
That's why I say like go outside because for me it's like it's always on my like daily walks that I
Yeah,
realize some shit or that I have like a moment where I'm like, duh. But also like the big thing for me, just circling back to nutrition, is like vitamin D. A lot of people just think it's like, oh, you take it because it's a vitamin. It's a hormone. Vitamin D is a hormone. And the fact that people don't treat it that way is crazy because
yeah,
when your hormones are dysregulated, yeah, you're gonna feel depressed and sad and whatever. Just go
anxious,
outside and get some sun
overstimulated. Yeah.
and regulate your nervous system. That's really all it comes down to is like, how can we regulate your nervous system?
Okay.
And that could be facing that scary thing or whatever you're not facing, financial, fitness, whatever.
There's these two books that I absolutely feel like changed my life, and one was like Ray Dalio's Principles. He's part of the reason why I'm a meditator. I do transcendental meditation. I call that the cheat code of life book. And it's business heavy, but also Ray Dalio
Yeah.
talks about a lot of great things in there. He also talks about meditation. So I would like to leave with that. I guess my book recommendation for Ray Dalio called Principles. And then the second book that I really do like rereading a lot is The Road Less Stupid. And the author talks about like thinking time and taking time out to like really, think about like life in general and writing it down and stuff like that. And that book helped me a lot too in the last couple. So those two books together has helped me a lot. So that's what I'll leave with, those two book recommendations.
She's like, I thought of something. We're good. No, I do. I love book recommendations. And as we know, you're a very avid reader.
Yeah.
Or, well, I guess would we call you a reader if you listen to them? What would we call you?
I have it on all, so I read, I have a Kindle and Audible. Like I have books, I
She
have
said I do it all.
I do it. If I'm driving or working out, it's Audible. When I'm home, it's a book. Or traveling, it's my Kindle.
That
Yeah.
makes sense, I guess. And then last thing I guess I would say is where can people find you, follow your work? How can we support your business? And I think your book is on Amazon, right?
Amazon. Yeah, you could just search my name, Mariam Dawood, and the title is Your First Year in Business. Shit, no one told me. There's more to the title, but yeah, pretty much your first year in business on Amazon. Just Mariam Dawood, Mariam Dawood, and my Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, all my social media is just my name. Yeah.
Super easy. See, that's what we love.
It's simple. I love it.
And there's just one of her, so you're you're good to
Exactly.
go. That's what I
Exactly.
like about my last name. One of the reasons I never took Lewis's last name when we got married is like his last name is Garcia. Like, first of all,
Oh.
I don't look like a Garcia. Okay. Nothing wrong with his last name. It's just, not mine.
Yeah.
And my last name's Sudsbury. Like, I don't know another one of me. Like, if you look up my name, it's me. Like, my sports, my
Everything.
businesses, everything to do with me is there.
Mhm.
It's like, I don't want to be a Garcia. Like, there's like 8,000, 800,000 of you out there.
Natasha
Like,
Garcia's, yeah, for sure.
there's me. Like, and I
Right.
think like that's a cool thing about like unique last names. It's like you can always find you. And so that was like my main reason. Everyone's like, oh, that's not selfish. No, it's my name. The fuck?
Well, to correct my social media handle, it's Mariam Dawood Khan, Khan. It's my family title. So Mariam Dawood Khan. So, but Amazon is just Mariam Dawood.
I
Yeah.
mean, I still think you pop up though, either way. Like if you just type in,
There's a lot of Mariam Dawoods.
really?
So, yeah, yeah, I'm glad you shared that story because in the Middle East, everybody's Mariam.
I guess that makes sense.
Yeah,
I always
everybody's
be
Mariam.
forgetting you're
Yeah.
Pakistani. But well, there's still only one of me. I don't, if you
Yeah,
just search Natasha Sudbury, this is what comes up, guys.
good.
um, But I just want to say thank you so much for keeping it real today and sharing your story and then reminding us all, like, just show up fully yourself, personally, professionally, ethically, just show up. Like,
Be
just
a good
be there,
human.
do the thing, show
Be a
up.
good human, yeah.
And then to everyone listening, if this episode hit you in any type of way, whether it be personally, professionally, emotionally, share it with someone who you think might need to hear it, especially the parts that made you uncomfortable or go like, what?